vision achieved through little tiny baby steps every single day. No one gets there tomorrow. You take little tiny painful steps every day. So that's the one thing that I want to say about that. Success is a consequence. Right now, and if there's a question here, it gives you an idea that because we're starting a little bit late, I don't want to lose the time. I want to keep rolling forward and also give us some time for conversation afterwards. At the very bottom there in italics, I think you should, in writing, if you have a pen, actually either, during this time together or before you sleep tonight, answer that question. Right, the very last one there. 3 months or 3 years from the day, what do you want people to be saying about you when you're not in the room? How would you change your behavior and plans in the next hour? So I'm asking you to connect two things together. The future vision of yourself and your behavior right now. Because we tend to, as human beings, because we're not very good, we are, and this again what Kahneman shows in this book, we're not very good at connecting present pain for future gain. We suck at it, particularly before age 25. There's a cognitive brain development reason for that. So I'm asking us, I'm kind of forcing us to say, yes, have the grand vision, but I'm also asking you in the same breath, right now, cognitively, to link those two pieces together. Don't just have the, crunchy granola, raw materials, and vegan vision for your future. That's lovely, that's delightful, it has fairy dust all over it, it's beautiful. But what really ugly, grunty thing do you need to do right now to get that? Because you're going to have to change something. I'm almost willing to guarantee, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I've never worked with a client who, in order to get that, hasn't had to change something right now. And at least 50% of the time, it's something unpleasant. Something they don't want to change. Corporately, it can be firing some employees who simply, they've held you hostage. They're toxic, the relationship has failed. You frankly failed as a manager, but it's too late to fix that. But they're going to have to go. And they've been with you for 17 years. What are you going to do now? Because there's no way, I'm telling you, I can tell right now, this company will not move without making that decision. That is a very, very tough decision. Your brand is frozen in carbonite until those people go. Because we don't have a decade it's going to change to steer the Titanic, that is their behaviors and habits, and get them to become different people, which is what we need them to become. Have you played a role in allowing them to become that? Yes, absolutely. But there we are, nonetheless. It's an ugly and unattractive situation. Your friends, your relationships, your habits, the way you drive, the way you eat, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you treat other people, all of those things. Sometimes in order to achieve the future you that you need to become, I'm asking you right now, have that vision, and you can't do it while I'm talking. Trust me, our brains don't work that way. When there's a moment of quiet, write that down before you go to bed tonight. Answer that question. What do you want people to say about you when you leave the room, when you're not there? What's the one phrase? I often ask my clients this when we're building their vision for the future, particularly if they're independent professionals like lawyers or accountants or realtors or whatever. So they're not corporate, giant companies where there's a different issue in that. These are people with generally self-contained professional careers. I ask them, what phrase, if you could be a fly on the wall 5 years from now in some important environment, a boardroom, council chambers, a committee meeting, your own staff, your family, but you're away for a while, if you could plant a bug in that room, what's the one sentence, and I mean that, one sentence, 20 words maximum, with a period at the end, would you like to hear that would tell you, wow, I did it. That's what I've always wanted to hear about myself. What is the one thing you've always wanted to hear about yourself? Write it down, because that's your vision for your brand. And the last one there, and it kind of connects to the stuff I was saying about David Rendell's thing, is get back to yourself. Discover what you hate doing, discover what your strengths are. Do not try to grind it. And again, Buckingham talks about this research in his book. There is no evidence that trying to become who we are not by really, really studying hard makes one whit of difference. There's a significant amount of cognitive brain research that shows the way to thicken the channels in our brains that move the chemicals, I'm not a brain guy, but electrons and chemicals that can constitute the way we think. Those go through fibrous things in our brains, they're actual fibers, those things move along. They thicken and become stronger when we do what we're already good at. They do not change when we try to go against type. When someone says, you'd be really good at this job if you could learn to type, whatever. Or you'd be really good at this job if you spent more time with people. My question always when I'm talking to my clients about a particular employee or business partner or whatever is, if that person is supposed to be good at being really good with people, like they're just a great manager, they're just a great employee, customer relations person, whatever it is, why haven't they been that person till now? If they aren't naturally that, asking them to become that, I always use this analogy a lot, is exactly the same as a marriage or a long-term romantic relationship. If you're going into that relationship saying, that guy's going to be really awesome when I'm done with him, I'm going to make him and shape him and mold him, and then, because he's got a few good characters, but there's all these other things that drive me insane, and I'm going to take care of that, and then he's going to be perfect, and then we're going to have, you are so dead. Because that is not going to happen. You cannot ask people to become what they are not. And by moving on to that, connecting that, you cannot become who you are not. You can't ask yourself to become who you aren't. Don't try to add new skills. Forget about it. It doesn't work. Discover what you are good at and to become better at it. Get deeper, not broader and shallower and stuff that the sun can evaporate in an hour. Go deep. Become retardedly good at exactly one thing and useless at everything else. That's absolutely